Hello, this is me from the future. I forgot that I actually recorded a well, I didn't record it, but I messed around with an intro, and yeah, there's an intro now, and it's got text, and I think I figured out how to do a bit of editing. So and I noticed that I didn't mention it in the intro that I made. So this is the new intro. Yeah, let's see what this dumbass after me has to say. Hope it's something interesting. Hello everybody, and welcome to another Destiny lore video. I didn't think I'd be back, honestly. I don't think anyone thought I'd be back, but here we are. And I put a poll out on my channel. I don't know when this video is going to come out, so I'll say yesterday, because as of the time of recording it was yesterday. The poll said, what do you guys want to see the next video on? And power scaling beings in the universe won, which was my obvious choice that I wanted to do, but here it is. I'm going to make a video on power scaling characters in the series. I hope you enjoy. Okay, well, I mean, this is really unprofessional. Considering this is my second video, I think you guys can cut me some slack. But this is me from after the first intro and also the second intro. I just wanted to say that I found it funny that listening back to these recordings, I kind of sound similar to My Name is Bife. If you haven't checked out his videos, he does lore videos on Destiny. He's basically my inspiration for doing this because I found his content riveting. But and then I remembered that Markiplier has a character or a caricature of himself online called Larpiplier, and I thought, how funny would it be if I renamed my channel to My Name is Larp, and just LARPed as a Destiny, lore guy. That would be so funny. And it probably could kickstart, a career of some sort, but then I'd actually have to become high quality, or maybe the bit could be that I'm low quality, because My Name is Bife is high quality. Whatever. If someone out there wants to steal that idea, go ahead. But, yeah. I don't really have a script prepared for this video, so I just want to say this is going to be incredibly unprofessional, and most of the video is either going to be factually incorrect, so if you are a big-time Destiny fan, I advise you to just go watch My Name is Bife instead, because this is really just me talking for half an hour to an hour about my characters. What I think, how powerful I think the characters are. So yeah, I probably should make a script of some sort, but I probably won't, because I'm lazy. Anyways, without further ado, I'm going to start with some big names in the series. Some names that even the weakest Destiny fans might know, or have heard of. I'm not going to do them in a particular order, so the first one would be the strongest, and the last one would be the weakest. But I will just talk about characters in the series, and then I might look up some other feats and read them to you. But off the top of my memory, I should be able to mention some of the big ones. This is a voice line for a transition screen. If you are listening to this, there is a transition happening. We start with Oryx the Taken King. As the name suggests, he is the king of the Taken. Oryx used to be called Orash. He's the king of the Hive of the Taken. That alone should give you some insight into his strength and power. First of all, he killed a worm god on his own. He killed the worm god of secrets, Arca. And using the secrets, he found and was able to commune with the Deep, or as we know it, the Winnower. If you don't know who the Winnower is, you can look back at my last video, The Unveiling, where I go into a story about the Winnower and the Gardener. That story also, leave a comment if you want me to continue it and go into depth about what it means. But anyways, let's talk about some of Oryx's feats. Firstly, he created the sword logic, which is a very powerful thing, which deserves its own entire video on, but to put it simply, he created a concept of power gaining in Destiny, where when you kill something, you take its power for your own, because that thing never deserved to live in the first place, and all that it owns is now yours. That is a powerful concept that he managed to, using the darkness, create as a system in Destiny's lore. Another feat he has is a supernatural willpower. He created a ascendant plane, which, for those of you that don't know, is essentially a domain expansion. And it lets you resurrect yourself as a non-light bearer. Anytime a hive dies with the ascendant plane, they can get resurrected in their ascendant plane. The only way to kill a hive with an ascendant plane truly is to kill them inside of their own ascendant plane. Normally, ascendant planes work as sort of pocket dimensions that are hidden away and kept secret. Oryx was so powerful and so strong that he posted his ascendant plane to the universe to see. His ascendant plane is the Dreadnought. It's a massive ship. I believe it's in considerable size, so much so that it's compared to the size of planet Earth. It's a very, very big ship, and that massive ship is his ascendant plane, where he controls the reality of physics and space. That also is another one of his feats. He can manipulate the universe. He can subsume someone's will and take it away from them and make them mindless husks that serve him and his bidding. He has wings. I suppose that's a feat. He can fly, but most people in the Destiny universe can fly, so not much of a feat. He spent thousands of years honing his weapon skills against his siblings, Zivorath, the god of war, and Savathun, the hive god of deceit, both of whom are very powerful beings in the Destiny universe, and deserve a spot on this list of powerful characters. Returning back to Oryx, when I mentioned earlier that he spoke to the deep after killing the Worm God of Secrets Arca, he was able to turn himself into Oryx the Taken King, and he gained the power to manipulate wills of those lesser beings that he could kill. And that gave him the power to manipulate reality at his will as well. This is all power borrowed from the Winnower, of course, who is possibly the strongest being in Destiny. Stronger than the Traveler, stronger than the Guardian. The Winnower was supposed to be the final boss of this series, but I guess the series got scrapped, so not gonna happen. I don't think I really emphasized how powerful Oryx really is, but I hope what I've said so far gives you some sort of image into a strong character in the series, at least. Because some of these next characters are very heavy hitters when it comes to being powerful in the Destiny series. I would consider this next character possibly stronger than the Taken King himself, purely by the concepts he embodies. You can feel free to, debate with me, but I truly stand by the fact that I think that this next character is maybe top 3 characters that are strongest in the series. This is a voice line for a transition screen. If you are listening to this, there is a transition happening. First up, we have Nezarec, the final god of pain. This is one of my favorite villains in the series so far, because he is just so powerful due to simply the fact that his abilities lie in concept manipulation as opposed to just pure physical force. Unlike the Guardians who use the light to manifest weapons, Nezarec uses the darkness to manifest fear in his enemies, and he does it well. Nezarec was a disciple of the Witness. He's an ancient being with psychic abilities, and he was known for bringing terror to entire worlds and species in order to feed on their collective fear. He was both feared and worshipped by various groups across time, including cults among the pre-Cabal Scions and pre-Golden Age humanity. Some of Nezarek's feats include turning the day into night. When the collapse happened, when the Black Fleet chased the Traveler into the Sol System, Nezarek led the first invasion against humanity, accompanied by Hive forces led by Savathun. On Earth, Nezarek's fleet engulfed the planet in such massive numbers that they turned day into midnight. When victory seemed assured, Nezarek was betrayed by Savathun, who mortally wounded the disciple. Nezarek used the darkness to preserve his consciousness, but the Witch Queen cursed his body to force him into a slumber. Following the collapse, Nezarek's corpse remained undisturbed from his pyramid until the Fallen arrived during their long drift. Eventually, a kell of wolves uncovered the derelict pyramid during an expedition. They carved his body into pieces, which were then distributed as morbid talismans amongst the members of the old crew, including that kell's son, Misrax. Over time, these pieces were stored within super-dense reliquaries to contain the radiating darkness energies. This use of Nezarek's remains was not without consequence, however, as echoes of his consciousness continued to live within them, to haunt and torment their bearers. These was a fallen pirate named Caraxes, who pried one of the disciples' 7 eyes from his head and kept it for himself. By the time Caraxes became a captain of his own crew, he was in constant pain from an injured leg and paranoia stemming from the possession of his eye. After experiencing a nightmare that caused him to relive the expedition to the pyramid, Caraxes decided to evoke Nezarek's presence with a ritual involving the eye, a pointed crystal, and a book of magic. As Nezarek's voice beckoned for Caraxes to free him, Caraxes reacted in fear and flung the eye out into the reef with all the strength he could muster. Nezarek's influence continued to plague the dreams of light-bearers and non-light-bearers alike, with nightmares whenever the moon was at perigee. One of his victims was a titan named Briar of the Wild Brambles, who was psychically touched by the god of pain after unknowingly killing one of his prior victims out of self-defense. Nezarek's psychic torment drove Briar to madness and desperation, eventually burning down his own home with his hammer of soul out of desperation. Eventually, Briar cut out his own eyes in a futile attempt to keep him from seeing the disciple's visage, only for his ghost to heal him and restore his vision. At Nezarek's own command, Briar turned on his ghost and killed him, piercing it with a knife before blinding himself a final time. These examples stand as a testament to Nezarek's strength. His power comes from concepts such as fear and pain, and thus he can never truly be defeated as long as sentient life exists in the universe. This makes him one of, if not the strongest being in Destiny's lore. Short intermission here. This video, I've got about half an hour of background content, and I don't really think I'm going to make the video half an hour long. So I'm just going to find a third character to talk about, and then we'll end it there. Sorry for it being shorter than maybe you expected, but if this video does well, if there's an audience for it, then maybe I'll make more. Maybe I'll expand the list a bit more. I feel like I'd be doing this series a bit of a disservice if it wasn't longer, but I don't really want to keep rambling on, especially since I don't know if there's an audience for this, beyond my friends, of course. This is a voice line for a transition screen. If you are listening to this, there is a transition happening. Finally, we have the Guardian, the player character, you. The Guardian stands as the strongest being in the series, simply because they have the main character syndrome. They are the strongest through plot armor. They win every battle because you, the player, must continue the plot. And if you didn't play the game, then nothing would happen. The Guardian has many titles. I'll flash on screen now a list of other names that they have, titles that they have acquired throughout the years. But as it stands, the Guardian is the strongest, possibly, light bearer amongst humanity. The list of feats that the player character has accomplished is incredible. I'm going to quickly go through a few of them just to give you a general idea of what the player has accomplished throughout the series. Crippled the House of Devils by killing Rixus, Devil Archon, and destroying Septicus Prime. Cleansed the Black Garden of Darkness by destroying the Black Heart. Conqueror of the Vault of Glass and destroyer of Atheon times Conflux. Slayer of Crota, son of Oryx. Executioner of Skolus. Usurper and Kingslayer of Oryx, the Taken King. Destroyer of Siva. First of a new generation of Iron Lords. Savior of the Red War, and slayer of Dominus Gaul. Favored champion of Emperor Callus. Destroyed Panoptes, the Infinite Mind. Slayer of Zol, Will of the Thousands. Cade Six's favorite and avenger by killing Aldrin Sov. Slayer of Riven of 1,000 Voices. And finally, well, there's a lot between that and now, but the killer of the Witness. This is a long list. I might just show bits of it here and there throughout the video or the segment, but the character has accomplished so much and is a testament to what we as a community have accomplished together. The fact that this series had gone on for so long and we've done so much, it warms my heart, as corny as it is to say. But this series brought together so many people from so many different places, brought joy to so many people. And yet, the game ended eventually. I just want to take the moment to say I'm grateful for this game for having come across this game. I've spent countless hours on this game. My gameplay might not reflect it, but I really, really love this game and put a lot of time and effort into it. The player character is us. We did all of this. I'm going to show a picture or a few pictures from the Destiny wiki that shows a lot of stuff that we've done. But this character, us, the player, we are the strongest because we play the game. We are the hope of humanity, simply because we're there. Ending on that point, the Guardian has too many feats to put into one video. Simply, if you just play the game and experience the story, you will yourself see firsthand what we can accomplish. And I'm going to leave this on a note that we should probably embody some of the traits of the character. Be fearless. Be notorious. But above all, be kind. Thank you everyone so much for listening, and I will see you all in the next video.